Well, welcome to another episode of What Yacht To Do as we kind of wind down our second loop here, and we are going to go from Morehead City here, where we spent a great 2 evenings here, very restful. Tide comes up and down, and we rocked and rolled this morning. Didn't have to set an alarm clock. And so the tide had just risen here. It's starting to fall, and we are going to make our way out of the harbor here, go eastbound and go around the terminal and up through what's called Core Creek. And then once we get out there, we'll be in the Neuse River, and then we'll talk to you a little bit more along the way. We don't know if we're going to stop and stay at RE Mayo docks, but we are at least going to stop and check it out. We might stay there for the night, and if not, we'll continue on to our next destination. So stay tuned for what's going to happen.
Taking off from Morehead City. Awesome place to stay. Don't turn yet in the front, Sam. Okay. Really good, looking good. Yep, turn. All right, very good. Well, we have fenders on both sides, so I've got a lot of work to do out here. Next door to Jack's is Ready Duck Tavern. We ate there, and really good, so we can recommend that. But there are so many great restaurants here in this relatively small town. Yeah, here's the face dock for the Sanitary restaurant that you can dock at. They don't have power, but you get a good deal if you eat at their restaurant. That might be an option for you. Morehead is a big fishing tournament location. They also have this dock. Look at this, the size of this ship that's docked here. We were playing chicken with it when we were first coming in. We know who would win that battle, but the size of that. It's really incredible. All right, here we go, back out to the ICW.
All right, so we have a tow coming out, a barge. It's coming straight out. Let him get cleared here. Island Girl.
It would be kind of tricky taking something that size through that opening.
Yeah, and that's that railroad bridge that is normally open. You can see it sticking straight up there right behind the tow. Looks like he's swinging to his port. So we're going to continue on here. Just kind of held to see what he was doing. I was going to call him, but pretty obvious where he's going, and he's busy, I'm sure, and want to talk to me.
Yeah,
Little old
let him do his job.
PC. He's got a lot of stuff to do over there. He's probably going over here to park that barge over there. This area known for phosphate mining and processing over here, these big 2 round domes, and so they get all that stuff, they process it, they put it on these barges, they park it over here, and then eventually they load it on these ships, and it goes to different destinations around the world.
Well, aren't you full of good information?
Yeah, I learned that from Dan. Dan is a brother of a friend of mine from airline pilot days, Mike, and he came by and took me around, showed me the area yesterday. We looked at a couple marinas. So that was very interesting, kind of gave me the history of the area. And he was born not more than, 300 yards away from where we docked. It used to be a hospital right there. So shout out to Dan for coming out to the Here's to Us.
Looks a little busy in the water.
Yeah, the tide is going out. It was high tide about an hour and a half ago, and maybe an hour ago. And tide's starting to go out. So we're going to have a little bit of a current. We're going to be going up Core Creek for a few miles and then turning to the starboard into the Neuse River. We're going to bypass Oriental this time because we've been there and don't have to do that again, although that is a neat little stop and I considered doing it. It would be a very short day because it's only 28 miles. And we're still open for negotiation on the crew here. If Rev says, hey, she wants to go to Oriental, we're going to Oriental.
Aww. Do you feel the water pushing you?
Yeah, I can feel it pushing me, and I know for the RPM I should be doing a little bit better, but we're doing good. It's a beautiful day to cruise. We are going on Core Creek here, up a couple more miles till we hit the Neuse River and turn to starboard. But we're coming up on a couple marinas here and worthy of staying. One of them is the Jarrett Boat Works, where they build custom boats. Pretty neat place to stay. We had some fellow loopers had some trouble with the big boat, and they went in there and they got taken care of. It was a Marlowe. You can see some of the bigger boats back in there. Just a great place to get work done on your boat in this area if you have to have it hauled out. So we're about mile 196, still along Core Creek, and this is the Core Creek Bridge. This is Bach Marine on our starboard side. Looks like a pretty big marina. Lots of sailboats in there. Some of them up and hard already, I guess. I don't know, maybe for hurricane season. Who knows? Getting ready for it.
Is it much of a current here? See some eddies over here on the side. Well, we're almost in a coma. This part of the trip has been so relaxing.
Yeah.
Been homes in some places on both sides, and this particular area just on one. Sam's playing chicken right now with a shrimp boat.
Actually, we're not playing chicken. We moved over for him to make our intentions known, and we're doing just fine here. We got 12 feet of water. It is right after high tide, so he should have plenty of water in there in the center of the channel.
You look like you're in the center.
No, I am on
in the blue part.
In the blue part here, and so got a little bit of weight that we'll have with
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. Yeah, shrimp boat.
Do you think they're running out of Oriental?
I imagine they might be. I don't know.
When we stayed at Oriental, there were quite a few shrimp boats that were our neighbors.
We are at mile 188, and on our starboard side, there's a couple places you might consider as an anchorage. Coming up on Red 10 on the port here, and just to the immediate starboard, there's a little housing area in there with a lot of docks, but it's called Royal Thurman. And then up a little bit further is what's called Cedar Creek, and that's kind of a favorite anchorage in there, and you can see there's a sailboat out anchored in there. So a couple different places there, and so just read the notes. Good place to hang out if you're kind of waiting for weather. You know, Well, if the Neuse River is kicked up a little bit too much for your conditions, you could anchor there in Cedar Creek. Looks like a nice wide anchorage in there, a couple of different spots. Well, a little update on our journey. It's we're on the Neuse River, going along the Neuse River, and off to the starboard side about 45 degrees empties out into the Pamlico Sound. Mile 175, and off to the port side there's an area there called Gum Thicket Shoal, and you can work your way back up in there into Broad Creek, and there's a nice marina up there, I'm told. Never been to it, but if you want to check it out, River Dunes Marina, supposedly very nice marina from what I have heard. And so we're going to be going about another 10 miles, and then we're going to be heading to the port side and heading up the Bay River and into our destination that's following the intracoastal waterway, and pull into RE Mayo seafood dock and see what they got there. We went past it last time, and you can review that on one of our other trips where the boat almost went there by itself. Well, still traveling along the Neuse River here, and open water, so a little bit of time to relax, do some planning, think about, hey, the next couple of trips, looking at the weather longer term. And here is, it is called the Bill Hall. That's the name of the tow pushing what looks to be the Lockwood Marine, painted on the side there, some type of barge, and can't tell if there's a red pennant out there. Usually if there's a red pennant, it's some type of dangerous goods, but I don't see them. I see some stuff up there. But anyway, so Neuse River, in about another 3 miles we'll be making a turn to the port and traveling up the Bay River, and about another 11 miles to our destination, where we will see what RE Mayo is all about. Well, we're about 3.5 miles away from our destination for today. Kind of nice to have a shorter trip. And as we were coming up the Bay River, the reds were on the right because it's red right returning for a bit, and now we're entering the official track of the intracoastal waterway. You can see it out there on the number 27 green. And so we'll be reds will be on the port side.
On the 27 green?
Yeah, 27 green right there.
Yeah, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at that little gold square.
Yeah, gold square at the top.
We'll be following this around, so we'll be leaving the greens on the starboard side. So we'll be giving the RE Mayo folks a call here in a bit, and seeing if there's anything special there. I don't know what it's going to be like. We'll just go in there and we'll see what happens, if we're going to have power for the night. But I definitely want to stop for the night, and if we don't have power, that'll be great. If we don't have power, it'll kind of be like anchoring without having to put the anchor out, be on a wall, and probably get some seafood. So here we are at RE Mayo in Hobucken, North Carolina. Who would have thought? RE Mayo was the original owner. We saw one of the shrimp boats earlier, the Mackenzie, heading south.
Whoa. Can you start over? Oh, yeah. You got him. Oh, he's sneaky. Oh. Oh.
He's gone.
Oh, yay!
He escaped. We didn't have to kill him.
Oh.
Oh.
Casualty.
Wow. Looks like we need a new one of these. Well, here we are at the RE Mayo Seafood Company. Last time we passed it by. This time we are here. They do have fuel here. They've got ice here. They got a little store. and you can get some shrimp here that they actually catch from these boats. Now, RE Mayo was the original owner, but I have a new owner here. Carol Potter is the new owner, and this is in Hobucken, North Carolina. So we do have power. There's 30 amp power, so we have an adapter. Plug that in, enough to keep our battery charged and run things that we need to. Just kind of watch the amps on there. So we're set for the evening. Went up and got some shrimp. Paid a whopping 40 cents a foot here. So that's $20 to park here overnight. And we're just going to sit back and enjoy the quietness. RE Mayo. Highly recommend it. It's one of those things that I think you have to experience. We'll see you next time on What Yacht To Do.